Yo, yo, yo! What's up, people? How you doing? It's fine Tuesday. Damn. Am I almost showing a bit of consistency here? Fucking mad. Insane. How you doing, everyone? How's your start of the week? What's up, Monsi? How you doing? Nice to see you, man. Are you enjoying yourself? Quickly, I usually say this at the end of the stream, but I thought for once I should probably start off by saying this as well. So, for example, if anyone is watching this as a VOD, as in, like, if you went to my stream and you say, oh, it was live some day ago and you're watching this right now, like, in the future, and you're like, oh shit, I missed this stream. How did this happen? Well, it's probably because you don't have notifications on. So, first of all, make sure you're following the channel and put on notifications if you don't want to miss the stream. Bad as usual. Nah. Kappa. Nah, I'm doing quite good. It's another day, eh? So what are we doing today? I am live and I am streaming. What am I doing though? That's a good question. What? Wait, did you guys think I was prepared for this? You think you actually planned something out? Damn, you people get to know me, eh? I don't really know what we're doing today. I thought I'd just do a little bit shorter stream. I'll probably live for a few hours or something. But yeah, I do want to try and actually get... Sorry about that, wait, I need to move my mic. Yeah, I want to try and actually get a bit of a... somewhat of a routine to actually stream a bit again. I don't know, I've been actually trying to... I've been considering actually setting up a schedule again. It's been... I don't think I've had a streaming schedule for probably... I don't know, it's fucking years, mate. So... And I mean, obviously, of course, that is something that also, like, adds on to the inconsistency, so to speak. But I don't know. I'll have to try and figure out something. Just usually, let's be honest here, what happens is usually I go crazy and I stream fucking every day for like 2 months and then I don't stream at all for 3 months. And, you know, that kind of thing. Which, I mean, obviously probably has to do with some sort of like burnout or whatever. Because I get very obsessed when I get into things and I, you know. So, to be fair, I think the best thing for me to do to actually get some more consistency on streaming is to have a schedule and try and stick to it but not go overboard. So I'm thinking maybe like just, you know, have like 2-3 days a week or something where it's like, okay, on these days I stream. I might be live for 1 hour or I might be live for 8 hours, but at least like I have something that sort of tells me whether or not or which days I should be live and try and stick to that. We'll see, I don't know, I'm just chatting shit right now, to be honest. But do you want to learn some Croatian if you don't already know some? There's some casual stuff. Dude, I know no Croatian at all. I know like 1, 2, 3 phrases in Polish and maybe a few more in Czech. That's like basically all of my Slavic knowledge. I mean, I guess I know a few phrases in Russian as well, but yeah. You know how to say cheers in Czech? Yeah, so in Czech it's na zdraví, and in Polish it's na zdrowie. So that is one of the things I do know how to say. How is it in Croatian? I'm gonna just assume that it's going to be similar. Oh yeah, it seems close. Oh damn, wait. Oh wait, okay, that was a misspelling, I see. Nazdravlje. So off. Nazdravlje. Damn, VLJ. That's kind of mad. I mean, it's Slavic, eh? That's what they do. They like to cluster those consonants, you know. The good thing, to be fair, about... Like, if I'm gonna compare, like, Portuguese with, like, the Slavic languages, because obviously a lot of people do, there's a lot of similarities in, like, the pronunciation, as in, like, the actual phonetics and how it sounds, but obviously the languages are not related. But it's interesting because Czech, for example, and I guess Polish too, as far as I know, most Slavic languages are pretty good at actually, like, you know, spelling the words the way you actually say them. Like, it's very, like, I mean, as long as you know the phonetics, like how you're actually supposed to pronounce the vowels and the consonants and stuff, it's pretty much like, if you can read a word, that's how you pronounce it, which is very simple. Like that. Okay, this sounds super weird if for someone maybe who hasn't thought about this a lot, but a lot of languages don't do that. Like, a lot of languages spell shit one way and pronounce it completely different. Swedish has quite a lot of those. Portuguese has a shit ton of those because they eat all the vowels, so they, like, disappear. That's one of the reasons why it sounds a bit Slavic. And obviously English as well. Like, obviously. There's a B in there, but no one, like, you don't pronounce the B. It's not obviously, it's obviously. Like, a lot of those things where a lot of languages tend to, yeah, basically spell one way and pronounce in a completely different way. Whereas I've gotten the impression that, like, for example, Japanese is another language I know that are quite good at this. Like, it's very, like, you say it how you spell it, or whatever. Like, and it seems very similar in most Slavic languages. Like, it's very straightforward, like. Because for most people, like, if you're learning English, like, if someone's learning English, you wouldn't be able to do it with, like, just a book. I mean, it all depends on how you define it. But I mean, in the sense that, like, you know, the classic examples in English, like the words though, tough, through, thorough. Like, all of those are spelled, like, incredibly similar. Through is another one. Like, but the pronunciation, like, the vowel spelling is the same in, like, all of them, but they're pronounced in very different ways. And even some of the consonants being, like, you know, tough, like, how the fuck, wait, I have to actually spell this. It's GH, yeah, it's GH, but you pronounce it like an F. Like, it's very, like, confusing in that sense. I mean, obviously you sort of learn the patterns after a while, but yeah. How would you pronounce this? Hvala? I don't know. That's what I mean, like, I'm gonna assume that you're, even though for, like, a Romance language, that H would be thrown out the window, but I'm gonna assume it's like Hvala, like you actually do. Have, I don't know. Yeah, phonetic languages are really convenient. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a nice, like, sort of. Obviously, there's other difficulties in the Slavic languages instead, but it's sort of nice to. I mean, it's a bit of, like, how do you say it? The fucking trust in learning the language. Holy shit! I just forgot the word. How do you say it? Not. I want to say support, but that's not what I'm looking for. Like, yeah, comfort, I guess. I mean, convenience works too. It's like comfort in knowing that, okay, one thing is pretty straightforward, you know. Like, read the word, that's how you say it. Which is quite nice. But yeah, I would like to learn some Slavic language at some point. But I would I don't know, I would probably learn Czech if I decide to study a Slavic language, but obviously there's a lot of languages I would like to study. Would also like to learn French at some point, but yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. You never know. I don't know how to explain it properly, but you would say the H like a sju in Sweden, but only... Oh, okay, chvala. I mean, it sort of makes sense, but just if you think about it, I'm not too surprised about that, because I would say that we probably have more of a weird spelling for like being SJ. Because if you actually think about it, like really objectively, what does sound like? It sounds more like a very hard H, you know. But yeah, sort of the Arabic, you know, like it's a harder H. So I mean, I would say that sort of makes sense. But yeah, when I think about it, it's kind of weird that the h sound in Swedish is... I mean, we can spell it a lot of ways. Because it can be STJ, it can be SJ. It can be more, right? SH, like schakt. That's all schack as well, like the game. Yeah, the SJ in Sweden is pretty weird. Yeah, it is. I do find it interesting though, because usually in my head, I mean, this is a bias of course, because I feel like most people think like this about their own native language. Like in my head, Swedish is a quite straightforward, easy language. But obviously, I am biased, because I do know we have like quite a few things that are not easy. But generally speaking, we have relatively clear pronunciation and stuff like that. But the ch is probably one of the more like... but that's interesting, because the word chain in Swedish, I wouldn't pronounce it the same way in my accent. Because for me, that's kedja, whereas like lake is sjö. You know, I do the harder sound on the SJ. Like sjö, stjärna, sjuk. 7 sjösjuka sjömän sköttes av 77 sköna sjuksköterskor. Whereas it's more like I think it's called, is it the schwa sound or is that the English thing? The kedja, like, but very similar. Yeah, it's still a similar sound. Absolutely. But I do know some accents in Swedish do pronounce them the same, right? Like some would go like, you know, for example, like skön, like vilken skön dag, like what a nice day. Up north they do. So I'm guessing you do that then, Monsi. Oh, sorry, Monsi. And what's up, Janne? Yeah, up north they do. I also don't. Some people in like around Stockholm also do that. Because I'm so sorry about this. This might sound weird, but when I think about pronouncing the ch sound as a sh sound in Swedish, in certain regards, it sounds a bit more posh for me. You know what I mean? But I don't think I'm thinking about like northern accents, because I wouldn't consider northern accents to sound very posh. But isn't it common around like Stockholm as well to say stuff like skön? Now it sounds like I'm saying gender, but just for me, dude, this is so funny. Yeah, maybe I do think so. I'm not completely sure though. But yeah, skön, for example. Like, how would you say that? Like, do you do the ch sound, or do you do? Now I'm exaggerating a bit, but or do you do it like kedja, like the same? Just for me, there's a very... I mean, I'm not... Obviously, the sounds are similar, but they are still distinct for me, you know? Oh, you do say it like I do. Okay. Because I do know that certain accents do the exact same sound for them. Like, both would be the sh sound. Isn't it... Wait, how did... Yeah, but some people here say it like shön. Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Because around here, I think that's quite rare, I would say. More southish or whatever. Wait, how do people in Gothenburg say it? Don't they also do that? Du är lago. Do they also do the sh sound? Or is this me mixing something up here? They say it like S, I think. Okay, they might do. Which is the most interesting Swedish accent in your opinion? The most interesting ones. There are a few interesting things. I did come to think of one now just because I saw Robert, not Gustafsson. Robert Gustafsson. That one is Björn Gustafsson, of course. Which is Skånska. One interesting thing about Skånska, which I find really cool, is the fact that they use both the guttural R and the rolling R. Like, normally when thinking about like Skånska, the dialect, people think about a lot of the r sounds, because that's one of the, you know, it's quite uncommon in Sweden for people to speak with like the r sound instead of the r. But the interesting thing about the accent down south, you know, is that they can say both. So for example, the word rolling in Swedish, they would say rullar. And I'm pretty sure Robert Gustafsson talks about it in a video. And I do find that quite interesting. That's like one of those small kind of cool things that, because it also reminds me of Portuguese, since, what's up João? Yeah, since Portuguese is very similar, because Portuguese also has the r and the r. So for example, like an expensive car would be carro caro. Like you have the r and the r. And I feel like that's one kind of cool thing about the Skånska, you know. But also you have the other classic thing for you Northerners. One thing I find kind of interesting up north is the fact that people do, you know, the. So for people who don't know, this is actually quite an interesting thing with like some of the Swedish accents, specifically up north in Sweden, which is probably one of the most like unique things I know about like any language when you actually think about it, because it's so like it's, I mean, I guess it's, I almost compare it to like being similar to like using clips like some African languages do. Like it's something that you normally don't expect to actually mean something in the language, where up north in Sweden, breathing in can mean yes. So, you know, like in the north of Sweden, they would be like, and that means yes. So someone can be like, oh, you doing good? What about you? Like it actually means yes, which is like that is a pretty interesting thing. And to be fair, it's not only up in the north. In Korean they moan to say yes. Moan. Oh damn. Why is that language similar to Portuguese? It's a Swedish, one of the Swedish like dialects has a similarity to Portuguese. But like the southernmost part of Sweden, in Skåne, the most south area, they use both r and r, whereas in most of Sweden you would only do the rolling r, like the r. Yeah, but the is a bit more defined. But yeah, absolutely. I'm making it sound very simple by just saying it's breathing in, because it's not. But just saying like that wouldn't mean yes, because that's like it's sort of. Like it has to be that almost like a sip, you know, almost like it very round and closed lip formation, and it kind of quick. Like, and now I'm exaggerating it again. That's not really how it is, but it's similar to that. Like, and that means yes. Like, that is so fucking interesting when you think about it. Like, how many languages would you expect to have a fucking O with more O in it? Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's such a weird thing when you think about it. It's quite normal, and to be fair, it's not only in like the north of Sweden. Like, people around here, and I live like relatively south in Sweden, center, south center. I don't fucking know, but people around here do also do the to mean yes, but I wouldn't say it's a standard for everyone. Generally speaking, some people choose to sort of adopt the like. I don't think I really say it, but I definitely hear people say it every now and then. But it's not like, I wouldn't expect, because in the north it's almost like the default, yes? I'm pretty sure it is. The most interesting thing about Swedish. Yeah, it's very common here, yeah. Yeah, it's really fucking interesting. I wonder where it actually comes from. I kinda wanna look that up. I don't even know what to search for. Norrländska. What do you call it? The fucking like, how do you search for that? What is the actual? Is there like a name for it? Once again, if anyone is lost, I just wanna quickly define what we are talking about. In certain Swedish accents, the sound means yes. So that's basically what I'm talking about. Now how to speak on... Oh yeah. He's speaking about norrländsk inandning. Yeah, I guess that works. Oh yeah. I think actually... like northern fucking inwards breath. Oh yeah. Yeah, I found it. Okay, look at this shit. Inandningsjo. So this is, I don't know how to literally translate it. This is like in-breathing yes. Do you know what I mean? Ett inandningsjo är ett ljud som används ungefär som ja eller jo. So it's basically used as yes or yes. Okay. Fuck. I mean, you can't translate you in any different way, yeah. Can you show a video of this? Yes, yeah, I can. There's a very good one that someone sent to me before. I'll show it. I think I posted it on my story on my Instagram too. I'll show it in a minute. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, basically, I'm guessing it comes from the fact that you are like saying you, just that you're like you're breathing in when you say it. That makes sense. I've never thought about it that way. Eu falo português. Is that butchered? No, that is incredibly good. Like, you missed one, like the circumflex on Portuguese, but that's like a detail, you know, it has the little hat. Otherwise, it is perfect, my dude. But that is interesting. I never thought about it. Because technically, you can sort of hear it like you inwards being like. Oh, I didn't mean to whistle, man. You know how to speak about writing is a bit different. Yeah, for sure. That's interesting about people like certain like second or third generation immigrants in some countries, or in any country basically, any like second or third generation immigrant who tend to like sort of speak them like mother tongue. It's interesting because for them it's very often like, I mean, it makes sense of course, but it's often that they can speak and understand the language quite well, but can't like read and write it or maybe translate as well, which is kind of interesting. And I don't know. I always find it quite fascinating, the fact that languages are so like, you know, there's like different different categories of well, not categories, it's like different parts of a language in the sense of like show it to, I'm gonna show it. I think we're probably thinking of the same video, I would assume. But yeah, basically in language learning you have like, you know, speaking, writing, listening, speaking, writing, listening, translating, and reading. And like all of these things are sort of separate. Generally speaking, people tend to think of it like like knowing a language is like one singular thing. But it isn't. Like you can be very, very good at translating, but you are barely able to talk. For example, people who study Latin are very often very good at translating the language, but they may have trouble like writing or translating it. They have, what did I say? They have trouble perhaps like speaking and writing the language, but they have like a very good sense of being able to like translate the language, because it's what they practice. And shit like that. I find it interesting. Russian and slang like that as well. Which slang? Wait, show me all of knowledge language and understand, which is a lot of names with different. Wait, what do you mean? Oh yeah, do you mean o, ä, ö? You mean those vowels, the weird vowels in Swedish? Okay, let's do this. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, so they are basically the O with the slash through. That's not a Swedish thing, but it is Scandinavian. That's what you find in like Norwegian and Danish. It's the same one that we use. We use the O with 2 dots instead. Let's see, Scandinavian alphabets. So yeah, I'm not looking for Old Norse fucking runeskrift, you plonker. Okay, so here we can basically see the sound is hard to explain. Like the O with 2 dots or O with a slash through is like a sound, so it's sort of like what you would say like UH in English, sort of similar. I mean, I guess that's the closest I can like refer to. Like it's It's sort of similar to do, like the fucking unpronounced E in Portuguese if you like overpronounce it. I don't know if that makes sense, but I sort of see some resemblance there. Like it's So basically, here you have the Norwegian and the Danish alphabet. So it's basically the same shit. Just these 3 are the same as these 3. We just write them in a different way. It's close to O. Yeah, I mean it's close. It is. So basically, we can do like this. So we have in Swedish you have å, ä, ö. And in Danish and Norwegian that would instead be... No, wait, this is... They write it in a different order, but for this... Okay, but let's see, that is actually the same. Are you mad, bruv? So these are basically the same letters. We just write them in different ways. So it's interesting though, just how would you explain O is a quite O. Ooh, like it's similar to O. I would say it's interesting, just we write it as an A, but I would say it's more similar to O. It's an O, O. That's like pronounced a bit further back in the mouth, I would say. Because the Swedish like O, or like O, O. Both in English and Swedish, O and O is quite like in the front of the mouth is where you like create the sound, whereas O is like slightly further back. I don't know if this makes sense, but it does for me at least. Like normally, I don't know. Like when you think about pronunciation, it's a lot of like how you actually form, like how you actually use the muscles around and inside your mouth. And as far as I can like feel myself doing it, I feel like O is like an O that's slightly further in the back. O. Yeah, just I think like tongue position, mouth position, and everything is sort of similar. O. Just the tongue might move back a little bit. Am I being too like detailed here? I might be. I would say it's similar. It's sort of like an O, but like further back in the mouth or whatever. Or. Like that's how I think about it. And then you have the air, which is, I actually think the Norwegian and Danish letter for this one, actually makes quite a lot of sense, because I feel like A plus E sort of equals like R, E, like it sort of feels like the pronunciation is somewhere in between the pronunciation of O and E. And somewhere in between there you have air. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but this is sort of how my mind works, like in how I see these letters. And then almost impossible to fully explain how the O sounds. But yeah, it is very hard, because normally speaking, like the best you can do is sort of like you compare it to other languages and stuff, but that never truly works, because there's an actual difference in how you use the mouth. Like the absolutely best way to do it is to show like X-ray of people saying the word, like when you actually see how they form the tongue and everything. But in terms of trying to explain, it's really hard. Yeah, it is. But I enjoy the challenge of like trying to come up with ways of explaining this. Is definitely the more like harder one. I would say it's similar to the English like you know, it sort of has a similar vibe. So just it's sort of like like the longer vowel version of it. Is sort of hard to explain. But if you think about the short one, which is like it sort of is a little bit like, I think about it almost like the sound you would make if you fucking get punched in the chest or something, like you know? I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's a very like almost grunty sound, like if you just, dude, it's so hard to like actually like put words to this, but I'm trying my best here. Just is surprisingly, like it's not that similar to Like, I guess it's a bit more open than an O, because the Swedish O, even though it's an open vowel, it's still a pretty closed sound, like O, like the mouth form is actually quite small, O. Whereas you have to actually open the mouth a bit more. What is the normal, quote unquote, accent of Sweden? It's called rikssvenska, I guess. Yeah, I would say so. Rikssvenska is basically what we have put as the standard. I guess that's like what you would call like received pronunciation in British, for example. It's what is considered almost like the default Swedish or whatever. And anything other than that is like irregularities. But I think it's hard to say what the normal accent of anything is. Just everything it's such a fluid thing with like accents and dialects and languages in general. Like, just that's also one of those things. Like, explaining the difference between a language and a dialect can be so fucking weird. Because sometimes there are certain, like, I would say that there are certain languages that are more similar to each other than some dialects are, if you know what I mean. And that is, like, it's quite complicated. Like, it was good because I don't know if you guys know this, but I made a video with Mario, who is from Olason Mario, which is a guy from Galicia, so he speaks Galego or Galician. And we talked a bit about that because it's a quite common topic, whether or not Galician, like, because of all the similarities it has to Portuguese. A lot of people talk about like whether it should be considered a language or a dialect and stuff. And I think Mario actually had a really good response to my question, because basically I asked him if there are like separate languages or dialects of the same language, and basically what Mario went on to say is that, like, the definition of a language or a dialect is mainly just it's a political thing, you know. That's why Swedish, Danish and Norwegian isn't considered the same language, because it's divided into different languages or different countries with different politics and whatever. Whereas, like, obviously if Scandinavia was like one big country, like, everyone knows that Swedish, Danish and Norwegian would be considered the same language, because it's so similar. Like, most of the time, if I'm speaking to like a Norwegian person, like, we can usually speak without much issue. Like if I'm speaking with a guy from like Oslo in Norway, I might even have an easier time talking to him compared to fucking talking to some of the really weird Swedish dialects. You know what I mean? So, like, in that sense, like, they could easily be considered the same language. And same, just as Mario said, if you have like Flemish in Belgium, like, Flemish is incredibly similar to Dutch. That is the name of the language. Holy shit! So Flemish and Dutch is basically the same language, but because Flemish is Flemish considered a language though? I'm pretty sure it is. But this is what I mean. Like, it's so hard to like actually define, like, when do you cross the line of becoming a separate language? Because I am pretty sure. Okay, here it's a dialect cluster, they say. Yeah, most people from Belgium say they're speaking Dutch, so yeah, and that makes sense. But I think it's similar to, like, certain, like Mario, for example, he considers Portuguese and Galician to be the same language, although they have some differences. But I do know that speaking to certain other Galician people, they would say that it's still a different language. and it's like it's very subjective and it's very like fluid. It's very hard to like actually speak about what is considered a language and a dialect, because it's not like here in Sweden. I think some people are still taught that like all the Chinese languages are dialects, which is like not true. Like Cantonese and Chinese, or Mandarin. I mean, Mandarin, Chinese, and Cantonese are like separate languages, but like, yeah, I don't know. It's a hard thing. I can say Norwegian could be the same, but never Danish. Yeah, Danish is different for sure. It is definitely different. Danish is the most different for Swedish people, at least. Yeah, that's true. Stop bullying Danish people. Never. It's like it's a part of the Swedish identity to bully Danish people. It just is. Yeah, to be fair, it's like brotherly love, isn't it? Like, in the end, like most Swedish people you talk to, like if you really get down to it, like I feel like most people consider like all of us in Scandinavia to be the same people anyway. I know I do. Like, because in the end I sort of, it's a weird thing, but like, you know this thing about how some yeah, same. You know, one thing I find really interesting when it comes to languages is like the connection and like but sort of like the connection you feel to people when you have like a language in common. Or for example, like, this is basically how I think about it. If I'm like traveling in another country or something, it's very interesting to the fact that like if I just randomly hear Swedish being spoken somewhere around me, I find it interesting how quickly my mind will like, my attention will immediately shift over to be like, oh shit. It's like, I feel like in our fucking genetics, like in our biology, it's like, you know, you immediately have like a connection to the person, because it's like, oh, you're my people. It's like, oh shit, this is, I know this, like this is familiar. I know I'm making this sound like a huge thing, but it's sort of like super like logical when you think about it. But the thing that I find very like fascinating about language learning is that the same sort of thing like happens for me with Portuguese now too, where this sounds kind of cringy to say, but I legitimately do feel like I have a stronger connection to Portugal. Like, for example, if I'm just hearing fucking news or whatever, if someone is speaking about fucking, if someone is speaking about like Serbia, for example, like I have it's harder for me to relate because I have like no connections to Serbia as a country, because I don't know like really much about the language. I don't know anyone from the country. Like this, obviously I know about the country, but I don't have that like connection to it. Whereas if nowadays, if I hear something about Portugal, it's sort of like I can sort of feel my attention being grabbed a lot quicker. Dude, am I sounding super weird? I sort of feel like I do, but this makes total sense in my head. But just how cringy it may sound, I sort of feel like there's more of like a connection to it, because I mean, it made sense. Like I've been studying the language for like 3 years or something now, and I have like a bunch of friends from Portugal, and you know, like it does make sense. But I find it interesting that you actually, like, I can sense inside of myself how I get like, obviously I'm not Portuguese. Like, let's make that clear. Obviously I'm not Portuguese. I don't have like that real connection to the language in the sense that my identity is in any way tied to it. But like, I don't know, it's still interesting because I can sort of, there still is like more of a connection to it. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. Obviously you get more of a connection since you're interested in the culture. Yeah, exactly. Because if someone is speaking about a language that I have no connection about, it's sort of like I might listen, I might understand, but it doesn't like intrigue me in the same way as it does. Where like if I would be walking around like outside, if I hear people talking in different language, I mean, it usually grabs my attention because I'm interested in languages. So usually I'm like, oh shit, what language are they speaking? You know, trying to hear it. Like, I just know that if I would walk past a couple who are speaking like Portuguese, like it's a way different thing. Just my attention will be grabbed in such a different way. Because it's like, oh, like it's almost as cringe as it sounds. It's almost like I know you people. Like that's not what I mean, but like obviously I don't know them like personally, but you immediately feel that connection. Sort of like when I'm out traveling. That was actually where I was going with this from the beginning. Holy shit, I got off track. When I'm out traveling, if I hear Norwegian, it's sort of the same thing as hearing Swedish. Like, oh, these are my people. And it's actually kind of funny because when I was traveling around in Europe, I did like an interrail trip for a few weeks when I traveled around like, I guess, like mainly a ton of countries in like Central Europe or whatever. I met like almost not a single Swedish person, but I met like I think 5 Norwegians or something that I ended up spending quite a bit of time with. Just, you know, I was traveling in like hostels and stuff, so you meet quite a lot of people. And I find it fascinating because I feel like every time I'm out traveling somewhere, there's always a Norwegian guy somewhere, like every time. But that's what I mean, like in the sense of like how I sort of think about us as being like sort of the same people, because I mean obviously we have the similarities in our language in the sense that we can even speak to each other without having much trouble, but it's sort of like you feel that connection, like, oh, this is my folks here, even though they're technically from a different country. I don't fucking know if I'm making any sense, I'm just waffling on here, but I find this kind of stuff interesting, even though I'm struggling. I feel like I'm struggling a little bit with actually like wording this the way that I see, because like in my head I have a very like clear vision of what I'm trying to say, but I feel like I'm not really making it justice, because it's sort of hard to explain, because it's a sort of, I guess it's almost like an emotional thing. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not really, and also in the sense of like it's logical. I mean, of course, I feel more connection to a culture, although not mine, one that I'm interested in. But it's just not that, like, I find it interesting because like the feeling of it is similar to when I hear like a Norwegian or a Swedish person when I might not be in Sweden. Like, I don't know if I'm making any sense. I kind of get a bit of what you're saying. I mean, that's good. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, languages are interesting, and to be fair, that's one of the reasons I love language learning, because it does literally connect you to other people in a very like objective way, in the sense that you just like immediately have like a deeper connection. I feel like the first time when I did travel to Portugal, that was the first time I traveled to a country where I actually was like conversational in the language, and it's very interesting to see the switch in people. Like you can see their whole like personality switch when you start speaking that language, because it's sort of, not to sound like judgmental or whatever, it sort of feels sometimes when you walk into like whether it might be like a restaurant or a hostel or whatever, and you can sort of get the impression that the guy at the fucking, what you call it, the dude working there or whatever, will have like, it sort of feels sometimes like they have a little bit of like, you know, here's another tourist, yeah, you know, it's a bit of that sort of like someone else here to get drunk or whatever. But then as soon as I started like speaking Portuguese to them, like you immediately like their face lights up and it becomes this like once again you get that connection to the person, which you don't get without that language in common, you know. There's no better feeling than talking to someone in a native language. Yeah, absolutely. Never feels the same in English though. No, that is true. Like I did also travel to London, and speaking English to people in London does not give me that same feeling. But it also made sense because English is a lingua franca. Like it's like everybody speaks English, so they expect you to speak English. Like a person working in central London is always going to assume that the person coming in is going to know English, because 95% of the cases that is the case, you know. Whereas obviously if you're in like Sweden or Portuguese or whatever, it's like if I meet a tourist in Sweden, I don't expect them to know Swedish because it's a small language, you know. And that's why if someone does speak Swedish, it's much more of like, oh shit, you recognize my culture, wow, this is an interesting thing, you know. Whereas people learn English without really caring about English culture. I'm not saying that that's the case for everyone, I'm just saying that that's something that happens because you need to know English, like it's an important language to know. Whereas like I'm learning Portuguese with no necessity whatsoever about the language. There's no reason for me why I need to learn Portuguese. I'm solely doing it because of like my love of the language and the fact that I'm interested in the language and the culture around it, which I think makes it a bit more like meaningful in some sense. Lingua franca, what does that mean? Lingua franca, it's like fucking how do you call it? Like, yeah, it's a language used to communicate for people who don't speak the same language, basically. You know what I mean? So English is that because if you speak Russian and I speak Swedish, we can't talk to each other. So what do? We use a lingua franca. We have a language that both of us speak, so that's what we're going to speak. If that makes sense. And so technically there's a few, like Russian is also sort of the lingua franca of the Slavic languages, and what you call it, Mandarin Chinese is like the lingua franca around like China, basically. But generally speaking, like the main lingua franca is English, because that's the most common one. Universal language in Africa is French, I think. You also have Swahili. Swahili is the biggest like African language, so I do think that one is quite commonly used as a lingua franca as well, you could say. Russian is very different in the Slavic languages though, it's really different. Yeah, no, what I'm saying though is that it's common for Slavic people to learn Russian. So it sort of becomes a lingua franca, because it's the most common Slavic language, you know. That's sort of how I think about it. I don't know. It's interesting though. Anyway, should we watch this shit? Because this is interesting. I think it's this one. So this is the Swedish yes that we were talking about before.
Hey from Umeå, the biggest city in northern Sweden, famous for Stig Larsson, the Northern Lights, plenty of snow, and an unusual quirk in the Swedish language. Let's check it out.
Yes, but I don't know if I would call them lingua franca. No, I'm not sure you would specifically do that. I mean, English is the most common one. No, though it does seem like Europe lingua francas. Russian is technically considered one. And then you had, as I expected, Swahili in Africa. Chinese. Serbo-Croatian seems to be one. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. During the Yugoslavia time. But obviously the main one you think about being a lingua franca would be English. Serbo-Croatian, that's why I speak dope, man.
And that means yes.
Here in Umeå, we say
And that means yes. How do you say yes? Teach me how to say it.
Say yes.
How do you say it? Yeah. Do you have to like that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
just if you have a mint in your mouth. It's like,
Okay.
but like, do you say it? Yeah.
No. You're not shocked or scared or something. That's just.
No, I
This is stupid.
maybe it's just an easy way to say it. You don't have to open your mouth and say ja.
Yeah,
You just
that's interesting. An easy way to say it. I think that's why it is. Like a lot of cases, like, you know, people are lazy. You know what I mean? Like we tend to simplify stuff as much as possible. That's why we like combine words and everything. We like no language like talks like it. How do I explain this? Yeah, generally speaking, like no matter the language, there's certain things we do to make it easier to speak it. Just like being more comfortable, like it rolls off the tongue easier. And technically, it's very easy to say, because you don't need to pronounce any throat, any sound with your throat or anything like that. We want to say as little stuff as possible. Yeah. Okay, I see, Joel.
What noise do you make if you are shocked about something?
well, if I'm shocked, maybe I will go.
That sounded exactly
What?
the same as the other one.
Oh, no, it
it
doesn't though.
because then I
That's the
open my
difference.
mouth like, and the other one is.
Okay. I remember the first time I talked to someone from northern Sweden and I was talking about myself, and I thought they were really impressed with everything I was saying because they kept going. But it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Well, I
I'm
wasn't
sorry.
very impressive
I'm
either.
sorry.
They were just, yeah.
The Swedish way.
The Swedish way. Well, that's it for our research today.
It's a very interesting thing. I would say that's probably one of the more unique things in Swedish. The fact that people say to mean yes. That is quite interesting, isn't it? Here we say mm. Okay. Mirror, this is unique too, but it's dying. Oh yeah, there's like 10,000 speakers or something, right? Fifteen thousand. Oh, that was 2,000 though. And at that point it said that 10,000 use it regularly. $15K, yeah, it's quite small. That is definitely in the danger zone, if you know what I mean. A lot of languages are though. Holy shit, isn't there some... I don't know how true this is, it's not something I've fact-checked, but basically I know... I've heard that, you know, there's basically a language dying fucking every day. How far south are you in Sweden? Which land, if I may ask? How far south am I in Sweden? This is interesting, because in my head I usually think about it being like pretty... I'm not... I feel like I live in the center of Sweden, but I don't, because Sweden is so fucking long, you know? So I'm not really in the center. Let's see. I wanted to see this shit with... But oh yeah, I think that's the reason I think about me living in the center, because I'm in the center. What you call it? This is not län or landskap, like you have fucking Norrland, Svealand and Götaland, you know? Oh, landsdelar, I guess. Yeah. So country parts of the country. So I do live in Svealand, so... But that is still, relatively speaking, because Sweden is so fucking long, like... This is sort of still in the south of Sweden, you know? But it's interesting, because everything north of this we consider to be north, you know? But like, if you're on the line here, technically you're in the center of the country. But generally speaking, I feel like that's not really how people think about it. Do you know what I mean? Basically live in Norrland, but it's more in the middle. Yeah. Jämtland. I was there not too long ago. I was in... Where was I? Lofsdalen. That's Jämtland, isn't it? Pretty sure. You know, Basco is Iberian language too, and you can't understand a single word. Oh, you mean... Oh, Basque? I mean, that's technically... Oh yeah, it's an Iberian language. Yeah, that is true. It's not a Romance language, so that's why you wouldn't understand anything. That's actually very interesting. You know, Basque is one of the only languages... it's not one of the only, perhaps that's not true. But it's something that's very uncommon. Basque is a language that, as we know, has no relative languages. Like, there's no related languages to Basque. It's sort of completely isolated, whereas we don't... Like, yeah, I don't know, it has no, like, relatives in the language sense, which is very interesting. Yeah, Lofsdalen in the edge of Jämtland, basically, yeah. I do remember it because I do know the radio switched to, like, let's go, Radio Jämtland! Radio Jämtland, or whatever the fuck. But Basque has 1.2 million speakers. Yeah, it's not super small, but I mean, technically speaking, like 1.2 is a pretty small language. Like, I consider Swedish to be a relatively small language, and we have 10 million. But what's interesting about Basque is the fact that they don't, like, we don't know of any, like, related languages. Like, most languages have some sort of, like, even niche ones like Finnish, you're like, yeah, but Finnish still has related languages. Like Estonian, basically the same, and then you have Hungarian, which is also in the same language family. Whereas as far as we know, like Basque, like we don't know any other languages in the family, in the same family as Basque. Like it's like in the language household, Basque is an only child. Do you know what I mean? Does that am I making sense? I think it's cool. What's up, Mr. Active Streamer? What's up, Spectacular? How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you, dude. Yeah, holy shit, I've been... Wait, I streamed 4 days in a row last weekend, or well, before the weekend as well, didn't I? I'm pretty sure. And now we are live again. Holy shit. Consistency, who would have thought? It's mad. Yeah, Estonian is close to finishing the way they talk, but they can't really understand each other. No, but what I'm saying is that languages are related, like they are objectively part of the same language family. And I wouldn't say, like, they are quite, like, even me reading some of it, like, you can immediately see the resemblance. Like, for example, you have I love you. In Finnish, it would be minua rakastan sinua. In Estonian, it would be minne rakastan sinne. Like, it's in. Now, of course, I'm condensing the whole language into one phrase. I understand that the language is more than just that, and that there may be a ton of words that are used completely different. But, like, in certain parts, like focusing on one phrase like that, like, you can immediately see the similarity. But for real, didn't catch latest streams, but saw you streamed a lot. Yes, indeed. I've actually been considering, I talked about it earlier when I started streaming here, basically, today. The fact that I am considering, like, I should probably figure out, like, an actual streaming schedule and, like, just try to stick to it for a bit, because, like, yeah, not having a schedule is obviously a reason why I'm not very just consistent, because I never feel the need that I like have to stream. I just do it whenever. So I end up streaming here and there, basically, which is not that good in general, like, because I feel like when it comes to stuff like streaming, it's very in the moment, and if there's something you earn a lot on, it's having some form of consistency. And I'm not saying it has to be every day, because it's not gonna be. I'm not gonna be able to stream every day. But I feel like it would be good to actually try and be like, okay, at least these 2 days in the week, I'm going to stream, and try to do that for a bit. Because it is something I enjoy doing. Like, let's be real. Even though I may not have been consistent, I started streaming, like, I think fucking 8 years ago now. And I mean, I'm still sitting here today streaming, even though, like I said, I mean, I'm still not a fucking official streamer, and I've not, like, been consistent, but I still really enjoy doing it. Like, every time I do stream, I enjoy it, I have fun, it's something I do like doing, so I feel like putting a little bit more effort into it is probably not a bad thing, you know. Swedish women are considered most beautiful in the world, right? I don't know if they're considered the most beautiful, but they are considered beautiful. And to be fair, not to be like, to be fair, Scandinavian people in general are considered quite good looking. Because it's the same thing with, like, Norwegians and stuff too. I don't know about Danish people. Nah, probably not. But let's say North Scandinavia. No, that's gonna be Czech Jazzies. Damn, Spec been following for 7 years, 4 months and 20 days. Holy shit, bruv. I mean, it's technically longer though. I don't know how long I streamed on my first account, but it was probably... I mean, it was definitely quite a bit though. It must have been at least a year or something, I would assume. It's hard for me to remember, it's fucking a long time ago, obviously. So basically, I'm gonna assume... Forgot about your main account. For 20 based. Serbian girls. Follow age. Let's see here. 4 months and 12 days, not bad, dude. I feel like I hear everyone saying they have the most beautiful women. I mean, it's said for a lot of countries, I would say. Know what I mean? I feel like I hear everyone... Oh yeah. I'm a really white guy like Nordic people. In school, people called me dad body, ghost, and vampire. Ah, shit, dude. I'm sorry. Forgot about your main account. Damn, 1 year, 7 months. Holy shit, dude. That's mad, isn't it? I didn't even know that. That is quite some time, dude. Time flies, eh, doesn't it? You can also do, I'm pretty sure... No, wait, this is not gonna work for everyone. First, I started following you after I saw one of your videos on YouTube. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like I said, I'm sure my first chat wasn't 1 year ago. Yeah, and like we've been talking about, I haven't always been the most consistent, so it's not really that weird that it doesn't feel as long as, you know, I haven't been streaming that much. Like, I've been streaming much, like, these last 2 weeks, 1 week, basically. Otherwise, I don't know what my general fucking schedule has been, or my general consistency. It's not a lot, man. It's like a few... I do a few streams, like, 1 week, and then I don't stream for, like, 2 months, basically. I remember I saw you play some pirate games some time ago. Oh, holy shit, Sid Meier's Pirates. Yeah, dude, I loved that game when I was a kid. And I think I was young enough to not understand what I was doing, so I never got anywhere in it, but I thought it was kind of dope. So that was like a nostalgic stream for me. When was your first stream? 7 years ago? Probably 8 years ago, I would say. It should be something like that. I must have been around... How old should I have been? I think I started streaming when I was like 16 or something. It was... When did Twitch launch Creative? Twitch Creative... Was it not called Creative? Oh yeah, they did IRL and Creative, and then they mixed them up and made like... So nowadays it's like music, art, fucking just chatting and all this shit. But back then it was only video games, and then they released the categories Creative and IRL, which for the first time since Justin TV you were able to finally stream something other than games. Because the time on Twitch before that, it was like if you're not having gameplay, like technically you're not allowed to stream it, you know. And when they launched Creative, whenever the fuck that was, when did Twitch... 2015, they launched a second non-gaming category, Creative. So yeah, when they did that, a lot of people started streaming like digital art, and that was when I also happened to get interested in digital art, so I started trying to learn it, and I did that on stream. So basically that is the category I started streaming in. And I was streaming myself trying to learn what the fuck I was doing, so I was pretty shit, but I think I still have some drawings from when I started, actually. And it's quite interesting, because I do still, like, literally here on my desk, I do still have my drawing tablet and stuff, so it's something I actually did get some use of. Let's see, 1 week street Chirpy, time to take a break for a year now. Yeah, it was nice seeing you guys. I will see you 2024. It's been good. It's been a pleasure. Peace. Don't forget to put notifications on, because you're gonna need it. Whisper from your main account. 2015, holy shit. Obrigado for stream. Nah, we keep going. We keep going, at least for a bit. But yeah, they did launch Creative October 2015, so I would assume that I probably started maybe a month later than that, so probably at the end of 2015. So yeah, it should be like around 8 years ago or something. That is fucking mad to think about. And the interesting thing though, and one of the things that really motivate me towards streaming is actually the fact that, like, I actually don't say this often enough, but it is a quite significant thing for me. The fact that, like, I still have a lot of my, like, actual first viewers, like Spectacular, for example, who has basically been here since the fucking beginning. And still to this day, we find him here in the chat. And I just want to say that I appreciate you, dude. You know? And obviously Spec is not the only one either. We have a lot of people here who are like OGs. We have fucking Elilo Laptops, we have Hempos, and like there's a lot of people. I can't name them all, but there's a lot of people who were here from like since some of the first months of me streaming, and now 8 years later, even though I've been inconsistent as a piece of shit, like I still have some of them here, and I do appreciate you guys. It's cool, and it's one of those things that made streaming very fun, because it's like, yeah, I might have, you know, I might have let some people down not being as consistent as I could have, but it's cool to see that some people actually do stick around anyway. It's dope. Yeah, thanks. Can I ban you now? No, but I can unmod you if you want to. Me? Yeah, you're getting there. You're getting there, for sure. No, but it's cool. It's cool, to be honest. So, 8 years ago I had... You were 11 years? Oh shit, dude. How would I find you? Yeah, I mean, it's a long time ago, man. And like, obviously I didn't have I probably had... I mean, I was... Like, for a bit I was doing relatively good. Like, obviously I've always had like a small stream or whatever. But, like... We had some quite... There was definitely a community, you know? And that's cool. And that's sort of what made streaming fun. I think I'm a very, like... I'm a very social person in general, you know? I think I'm quite... Like, that's why, for me, learning a language, for example, my goal to learn a language is never to be able to read a certain book or whatever. Because my goal is always to be able to talk to people, because I enjoy like human connection or whatever. I mean, I am a quite extroverted person, I would say, so that makes sense as well. And I think it's the reason I enjoy Twitch as well. Like, that's why I never try to focus on being like a pro gamer, because that is not the type of streaming... I mean, first of all, I couldn't, because I fucking suck at most games I play, let's be honest here. But the thing I do enjoy with Twitch is... I mean, basically, not to be like overly fucking dramatic here, but it's you guys, it's the chat. That's what I enjoy. That's why I call myself... I'm pretty sure I even have in my bio on Twitch that I'm an interactive streamer, because that's what I want to be like. I want to embrace... conversation, basically, just that's the fun part. So even if I could, even say I was a pro gamer, if I could have like 100 viewers who just watched me to see me be good at fucking Counter-Strike or whatever, I wouldn't have as much fun. Like, I'd rather have 10 people watching me who we are having conversations with, and there's like, you know, that community feeling or whatever. It's cool. Imagine where you would be if you were more consistent streamer, still here trying to get into beating Dark Souls 3. Yeah, holy shit. Like, that's the kind of stuff that you, like, I don't want to think about, because it's fucking sad. Because imagine where I could have been if I always stuck to being consistent and having like an actual schedule. Like, you never know, I might still sit here with like a small community or whatever. Not to make that like... Look, I hate when people talk about themselves being small or whatever, because in my opinion, I feel like it sounds a bit like I don't appreciate the few people that are here, and I want to be very clear with the fact that I do. But obviously, if I would have been streaming consistently for 8 years, I would have probably had a bigger community. But to be fair, like, I mean, coulda, shoulda, woulda, you know? It's not something I can change now. My goal on learning languages is to connect with people. Yeah, that's what I feel like. Small communities are the best. I mean, there is definitely some truth in that. Like, fact is that, for example, me, when I watch Twitch, I quite rarely watch big streamers. Like, it's generally speaking, I watch smaller communities. The biggest guy I would say I watch consistently is Elias, and although he is objectively like a big streamer, like he still has like, you know, maybe between 5 and 10,000 viewers, but the difference is his chat is still like readable, like there's still like a community feeling, whereas like if you watch someone having like 50,000 viewers and the chat is just walls of text scrolling by, like you sort of lose a little bit of that connection or whatever. Because, I mean, that is one of the, like, if we're being honest, like that is one of the perks of being like a smaller streamer, because you do have, it does feel like you have more of a connection with the community. Forsen's chat is crazy. Yeah, that's what I mean, like, and like it can be fun. I can see some like fun aspects of it, but it's also like you do lose a bit of that like community feeling or whatever. Emotes everywhere, yeah. And I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the perfect range is. Like, but it's also interesting because then you have guys like Lyric, who is like obviously a very big streamer. But as far as I know, like I don't really watch Lyric, but the few times that I do check in on him, like his chat is not that bad for being someone who's.
You look.
Okay, it is pretty fast, not gonna lie. But it's not completely crazy. I don't even know if I'd be here if you'd have like 500 people on every stream. I enjoy coming in and communicating with you. With this number of people, it wouldn't be the same, I guess. Yeah, no, I mean, that is a fair point. I mean, it's sort of hard because it's like it's quite a like pro and con situation. Because also, let's be honest here, if I had 500 people streaming or watching me every stream, that is around, you know, where you would be able to go full time. Meaning, if I had 500 people watching me every day, I could potentially stream like 10 hours every single day. So that's like, okay, you perhaps lose a bit of like the sense of like the small tight-knit community, but you would also get like a shit ton more content out of it. Because I mean, let's be honest here, one of the reasons why I can't be streaming 10 hours a day is because, well, I also have to make money, you know, and obviously content creation is not something that, like, although I make money, is not something that I like have any chance of like living off or whatever. 500 is still enough to communicate, I feel like. Yeah, to be fair, I don't think 500 is that bad. Like I said, for example, I think like Elias has a pretty perfect range. Like he has enough viewers to be like really successful, but I also don't feel like his chat is crazy or whatever. Like it's still like very readable, you know. And yeah, I don't know. But I also think that he has a quite chill community. Like because I imagine that, like, say when Soda Poppin had the same amount of viewers that Elias has today, I think Soda Poppin's chat would have been much worse in that sense. Because like different communities do behave differently. Like you can tell the difference between the chatting like on different streamers. So I think it also depends on like how the streamer like actually nurtures the chat or whatever. On the other hand, with these numbers, you'd make a lot of money, which means you'd pay me. Yeah, I mean, fair point. Like at some point, the work of being a moderator is actually, you know, a quite significant part of the stream. And there are always gonna be lurkers. Yeah, for sure. It depends. On some streams, even 300 people in the chat is still fast, and somewhere at 3K it's still fine. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it can be very individual between, like, different streamers, depending on the specific community. So, I think it, you know, it all depends. But it's when you start getting into, like, the, you know, tens of thousands, at that point it starts getting hard. And yeah, I don't know, it's hard. Because obviously there's also, yeah, like I said, it's obviously easier to be consistent the more of a viewership you have, because the more like, I'm not, like, obviously I'm not doing this for money, I just want to get that out there. Like, I'm not, because if that case, I mean, I've been streaming for 8 years, and I'm pretty sure, if we don't consider YouTube, because I'm probably done plus on YouTube, even though it's not a lot, but like I've actually made money from YouTube. I'm pretty sure I've lost money on Twitch, if you consider everything. Like, if you consider, like, you know, me subscribing to other streamers and shit like that as well, and like, I don't think I'm even plus on Twitch, to be honest. But yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, obviously I don't do this for money, because 8 years without making money, I mean, if I did it for money, I would have stopped. But it's like, still, like, if I would make money from it, like, that would just be a huge bonus, and I would be able to do it more. With me, you spend 9 euros. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I did gift you the game, and I've also, holy shit, I looked at that before. Do you know what's fucking mad? Holy shit, like I don't actually consider. Like, I haven't really thought about this stuff, but look at this shit. Did my browser just crash? Oh, there we go. Gifts. I've gifted 23 subs. That's quite a bit, not gonna lie. And I mean, obviously, let's be honest here, I made some of this money, because like a part of it is going back to me. But what that basically is, this is me paying Twitch, you know? Like Twitch is the one making money here. Do you know what I mean? Just like, they take 50% of this, so every fucking sub I gift is just me paying Twitch money, basically. 50%, yes indeed. Twitch does take 50% of the sub money or whatever. What a scam. Yeah, I mean, it all depends. Like, it's quite a big thing. Obviously, it's also owned by Amazon, so in some regard, you wouldn't expect them to need super much. But I also think that it's, like, at the same time, I do understand that the platform needs money to run as well, or whatever. And like, if someone wants to directly support the streamer, there is like alternatives. Exactly, donations. If someone donates money, 100% of that goes to the streamer. So in some regards, you could consider it to be better to donate to a streamer because you know that they're gonna get like basically all the money for it. Whereas with whereas with the subs, obviously Twitch takes their cut, but it's money laundering, that's it. Stop gift subs and donate. But like subs is good too. Yeah, and also the thing about subs is that the difference is that subbing is something that like I feel like subbing brings more of that community feeling sort of thing in some regard. Because, you know, it's all the small things like, oh, you get the little, the badge in the chat and it's like you can see how long you've been subbing for. Like, there's more to it, and I don't know, it's hard to say. In some regard, I almost... Like, if someone is gonna donate $5 or subscribe for $5, like at first reaction I would probably still choose that people, if I could decide, I would probably still tell people that I rather have the subscription, even though I like lose a bit of the money on it. But I feel like generally speaking, for the stream itself, it might be better with subs. I don't know, because you also have stuff like you unlock more emotes and like, yeah, I don't know, it's... Yeah, with subs comes racism towards non-subs. Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing too, because then everyone who gets a subscription can feel a little bit more like elite about themselves, and we can, like, together as a community, we can shit on everyone who doesn't subscribe. I'm obviously joking for anyone who doesn't understand that, but... Yeah, I don't know, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting stuff. I don't know what's best, to be honest. Like, it all depends. Like I think one of the reasons why I would say I almost rather have subs is the fact that, like, at this point I know I'm not making enough money from something like this that it's like any form of like reliable income anyway. So even though I might make more money from donations, is not like, I don't know, it's interesting to think about. I mean, there's also, you know, there's perks to both. They are just different, like, because obviously subscribing will like get you the chat badge. If you connect to your Discord account, you also get like the subscriber Discord role, stuff like it's basically status stuff, to be honest. Let's be fair, that's basically what it is. But I mean, you don't get any ads. Very cool, very cool. And also, I can do like this. I can do fuck you guys, and we put on sub-only chat. And now, only subscribers should be able to chat. But wait, did that actually work? Did that not do anything? Oh shit, wait, I don't know if I have subscriber on or off right now. Why is it not telling me? Usually it's telling me. Yeah, fuck. Oh, dude. But also you have text-to-speech with donations, so that's something. It's okay now? Is it? Do we have any plebs? Do we have any non-subscribers? Can you do a test message? Sorry. Oh dude, that sounds so bad. But shouldn't it give a message when I start it? Oh yeah, enabled. Okay, now it's working. Disabled. Okay, everyone should be able to write, whether you're a subscriber or not. It should be fine. Spec. Shit. Moderators are unfortunately taking control of the stream. So that happened. The funny thing is that my chat here doesn't work. I can't. Wait, do I need to update this? Because I can't tell whether or not it's on or off. Because I don't get the message for some reason in my broadcasts thingy here. Is it on or off? Oh shit. Okay. Now it's off. Okay. Oh yeah, we can do this too. What else can I do? Can I do the fucking... Oh, maybe I can't do that from here. You also have emotes only, right? Okay, let's not go too crazy here, guys. Emote, chat, yeah. I don't know. I feel like emote chat is kinda... I mean, both are pretty... like, not that important. Like, the only time I would, like, actually put on subscriber only mode is... when would I actually do that? I mean, I guess if chat goes fucking crazy for some reason, if I get a ton of people fucking not behaving in the chat, like that's pretty much the only time that I feel like it's a good strategy for me to put on subscriber only chat. Because otherwise it's like, what's like, I feel like as a small streamer, you obviously like you lose out more on having subscriber only compared to what you gain for it or whatever. Like, I mean, I guess it, you know, it makes more sense for like a huge streamer where they can choose to like sort of slow the chat down using subscriber only. But for like a smaller streamer, it's like, I'm cutting off like half my audience. I mean, that's probably not the best idea. Of language chat too, right? Do you mean for specific languages? I don't know. So I do know a lot of streamers tend to have like their own rule about only speaking specific languages. I'm not so sure there's an actual like... I don't think there's like an actual mode for it or anything like that. I think it's usually just something that the moderators keep up with. Say, for example, some streamer might be like, in this channel we are only speaking English. And then the moderators is the ones who enforce it. Like, if someone starts speaking another language, they're like, hey, calm that down, otherwise fucking banhammer. I think you have a bot to delete your message. That is risky though, I think. Because what happens when you misspell an English word? And the bot thinks you're speaking another language. And then they delete it. That's just gonna be a bit annoying. Like, in my channel, I don't really care fucking... Like, I even think I have it in my rules, to be honest. Yeah, you are allowed to speak any language as long as you're not obnoxious. Basically. Like, I do think I have link protection. That's like the only one. So if someone starts posting links, they should be timed out, I believe. Unless you are a subscriber. Don't fucking abuse that though. I'm watching you. You might be a sub, I can still ban you. Messing. So off, it's also true, let's be honest. If you write the name of Cristiano, yeah. Like, I can blacklist certain words as well. Like, you can do a lot of shit. I could be like, anytime anyone mentions the words Danish, Denmark or Dane, immediately ban them. Like, I could tell my bot to do that. That might be a good idea, actually. I should probably look into that. Vienna, you guys better start learning Swedish, otherwise you're getting shot. Oh damn, the fucking uprise of the moderators in the channel. Hello, very good. Yeah, that's. I mean, it's on the way. Can you see that? Say what? Oh, herregud. Oh. It's E instead of Y, otherwise, yeah. Up igen. Oh, I got you. Herregud! Herregud, men vad fan! Vad håller ni på med? Lugna er. Fan. Since I don't know Swedish, I'll just ban everyone who types something. Oh, this is mad. When my moderators go together and like implode the channel from the inside. Men herre min skapare, kors i taket hörni. Fy farao. Damn, there's some really fucking interesting expressions there, isn't it? Fy farao. Who the fuck came up with that? It's basically fy farao. That's almost an English equivalent would almost be like you pharaoh. Like, very odd. Like ew as in like something is disgusting, you know, like ew. Pharaoh. Pharaoh. How the fuck do you pronounce that? Pharaoh? Pharaoh. I don't know. Herre min skapare. The mod mafia is strong. Yeah. Going crazy. Fy can also mean something bad. Yeah, it's also like telling someone off, right? Like fy, like don't do that. Fy. I don't know what you would. That's hard to translate. Yeah, I mean, I guess the English equivalent would be like bad. No, like is that not what you would say? Like bad doggy, you know? It's like that's for example, like if a dog does something bad, a Swedish person might go like fy, fy, like that's you're not supposed to do that, fy. So I guess in English, the only thing that comes to mind is like, yeah, telling them like bad, that's bad. Almost like yeah, Viking stuff, indeed. Indeed. Fy fan. That's also interesting, the swear word or curse word, fan, meaning, basically literally meaning the devil, but used sort of like damn or something similar. It's interesting that you have two pronunciations of it. You have fan, and then you have the emphasized fan. It's like two different ways of pronouncing it. Similar but different. There's definitely more emphasis on the fan. Damn, it's so... Yeah, vad fan. That's like, what the fuck? And then vad fan, that's like... Yeah, it's just more emphasized, I guess. It's more like saying like, what the fuck? You know? För fan! Yeah, you almost want to do like the fucking... like the guttural stop or like fy fan! Do you know what I mean? Go crazy with it. Men vad fan! Nu får du ta och ge dig. Sluta. Nu är det nog. Fy. Damn, if our neighbors are hearing me, they're gonna be like, what the fuck is going on downstairs? Sounds like I'm lecturing a fucking dog that I don't own. Men vad fan grabbar? That's interesting. One of those things that I've come to realize, even though I've been streaming very long, but I've like never streamed in Swedish. That's also one of those things I wonder how different it would have been if I chose to start streaming on Swedish. Like, I mean that like from the beginning. Obviously a lot of things would have been different in the fact that like certain people here in the community probably wouldn't be here in the community, because you wouldn't understand shit. Yeah, no, I'm not going to. Like, I knew from the beginning that I wanted to stream in English. Like, I feel like it makes more sense just because I feel like in some regard the only thing I'm doing, if I would have chosen to speak Swedish, is that I would have just like, you know, I would have narrowed my possible audience or whatever. Because let's be honest here, if I'm streaming in English, as we can see, Swedish people can still watch me. Whereas like if I'm speaking Swedish, then only Swedish people can watch me. It doesn't, yeah. For me, like, if you want to go about it like from a business standpoint, I don't think it makes sense. You will be fluent in no time. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it can definitely be used to learn a language. Like, I do follow quite a bit of Portuguese streamers who only stream in Portuguese. It's quite good because it's good listening practice in the sense that you hear very like casual use of the language. I don't even know how to speak Portuguese, imagine Swedish. Yeah, but I guess you would be more comfortable speaking Swedish, of course. Yeah, there's certain stuff that would be better, of course. Like, in the sense of that, like, certain reactions would probably be more natural in Swedish, because sometimes something might happen and it's like you sort of have to find the right expression for it. Even though I consider myself very like comfortable in English, it's not the same as speaking Swedish. Just like I have to, it's different, you know, even if I consider myself comfortable with English, because you can't do the same, like, you know, I think it's just that I would be quicker in Swedish with like reaction, interjections, jokes, whatever. But yeah, which might lead to, be fair, for some people that might be a reason why they would stream in Swedish, because they would end up actually creating, like, you know, actually creating better content streaming in the native language. But for me, I don't know, I don't think I ever even considered streaming in Swedish. But from a business standpoint, no, yeah, exactly. You can just learn the words oj and fan and you're good in Sweden, pretty much, let's be honest. So do I listen to Croatian streamers and stuff? Nice. Sometimes we know things in English but not in our native languages. That's also true, a lot of the time. But yeah, there are certain in certain regards, it's definitely would be a pro to actually stream and make content in Swedish. I feel like reaction-wise is probably the biggest one. Just like, it's easier to be very repetitive when you're not a native speaker of a language. Like, it's easier for it to end up being like, you know, something good happens, you're like, oh damn. Something bad happens, you're like, oh damn. And then all of a sudden you're having a stream where you're just saying, oh damn, for 20 hours, you know. And like, in that sort of thing, I think is probably the one, like, the biggest disadvantage, I think, because I do think I would be, like, I don't think I'm exaggerating a little bit now, I don't think I'm that repetitive in that sense, but I do think it would have been better in Swedish, because I have more like natural, those kind of interjections to do, like the reactions to certain things. I learned 2 Swedish words, it took me a lot of time, but it was worth it. Å and ö. Good ones. River and island. Literally, both are just one letter. Å, ö. River, island. I feel like you would have to live in a country to speak the language daily, then it'd be more natural. Yeah, of course. And I mean, to be honest, I am getting even more natural in English, because I do literally speak English like every single day, basically. So that's what I mean, like, it's not like I'm not comfortable in English, you know. Like, first of all, I do actually think streaming has helped me. Like, I did start streaming 8 years ago, so like if you count all the hours I have been streaming, it's probably quite a lot. And that is basically like constant hours of speaking practice, even though I might not get as much like obviously there's no one to like correct you and stuff, but you definitely get more comfortable because you're used to talking it quite a bit. Is there a reason you are going for the British accent? My girl is British, so yeah, there is. And to be fair, I also do, like, in a legitimate sense, I do like the British accent more. So basically, even before I met her, I was always thinking that if I'm going to spend time and actually try to improve my English, which was something that I did want to do, but I was also like, but I'm not gonna take away time from Portuguese to do it, because even though my English isn't perfect, it's not like I do know that I'm comfortable speaking it, and I know that I can make myself understood. So even if I might do some pronunciation, like if I might mess up a bit of like the pronunciation and stuff like that, it doesn't really matter. But yeah. But then I did decide that if I ever would go on to actually put effort into improving my English anyway, I would probably have changed it to a British accent, because I don't know, I just like it. Like, to be fair, like most people, I do listen to quite a lot of like English music, but the like English speaking, like in the language of English. But to be fair, nowadays, like, most of the stuff I listen to is like from the UK. And not only that, like, all my favorite comedians are from the UK and stuff like. So in some regard, I almost, I sort of feel closer to the UK in that sense anyway. And to be fair, I just like it more. Not. I don't want to be rude here. I don't want to be rude, but in some regard, American sounds a little bit more flamboyant. Let's be honest here. It does. It does. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but yeah. In Portugal we use English words. Yeah, that's most. Like, that's the typical one I think of in Sweden. I mean, there's a few. Like, nice is incredibly common to hear in Sweden, to the point where people actually even start spelling it in a Swedish way. But you also have words like random. Like, no one uses the Swedish word to say that something is random. Like, you just say, vad fan, det där var jävligt random. Like, you say random almost. Like, I think I even say it in, like, when I'm speaking Swedish, I even say it in like a more Swedish-fied way, but yeah. Portugal capo. I do indeed. It just feels odd in Swedish-British, yeah. I mean, it's getting there, of course. Like I said, even though I'm speaking it pretty much on a daily basis, my English is still far from perfect, but I do think it's actually gotten better. Like, it has, definitely. Nice, random, what the fuck. Okay, yeah. Yeah, what the fuck, like the abbreviation. No, people do actually say what the fuck quite a bit too. Like, I could definitely see someone like their fucking car breaks down and they'd be like, men what the fuck, vad är det här? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, what the fuck, mannen? I guess some people say märkligt, but but that's not really random. Like, I see what you mean. Yeah, because otherwise it would be fan vad slumpmässigt. And that is like, no one would say that. Like, it does not flow off the tongue. Because that's more literal to what random means. Just märkligt, that's almost more like being like, that's weird, or like, that's odd, Whereas random, I mean, random is similar, definitely. There's definitely a similarity. It's because, I mean, you can like call something random when it is odd, if that makes sense. But I feel like something can also be random but not necessarily odd. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Jag just made a clip more strange. Yeah. Just like, fan vad slumpmässigt. Det där var väldigt slumpartat. Like, who the fuck says that? Like, no one says that. You say random. You just say fan vad random. Like, that is random. That's just, and I think that goes for. There are a few of those words that you just end up always saying in English. And there's also stuff like, you know, since you can find so much information in English, certain, like, I don't know, some of you probably know this already, but for those of you who don't know this, I am a very like in general, I am a pretty like obsessive person. Not in all scenarios, but in the sense of like when I find an interest in something, I'm a little bit like, I guess it has some similarities to what certain people with like ADD and ADHD has, which I'm not saying I have, at least not fucking diagnosed. I wouldn't be too surprised, to be honest. But in the sense of that, like, when I get interested in something, I get very obsessive about it, and I can sink fucking hours into learning about something just cause, like, completely out of nowhere. And I can't even predict it myself. Like, tomorrow I might fucking wanna learn to play a new instrument or something, and all of a sudden I'm gonna spend 12 hours a day reading, watching stuff, and trying to learn about that. And beat Dark Souls 3. I mean, I can be like that with games too, of course. And like, it's not as common nowadays, to be honest, that I get that like obsessed about the game. Just let's be honest, I also know myself. I know that usually it doesn't hold in the long run. In that sense, even though I might not be super consistent with always like studying Portuguese is, and languages in general, is one of those interests that sort of stuck with me a bit harder. Same sort of thing with guitar, but I'm also like, when did I last play guitar? It's been a bit, not gonna lie, that one is out of tune as a motherfucker. But the thing I was gonna say is that when I get this, like for example, I had a time where I got super obsessed with watches. Like, that's one of those like super random things that I just got like, all of a sudden I just spent hours of my days reading about how watches work and like learning about watches and shit. And I mean, I do still have I do still have a lot of watches, and it's something that I enjoy. It's like the only like materialistic thing in my life is that I do enjoy my watches. They're not, I don't have anything crazy, but the thing I was gonna say, holy shit, I'm talking a fucking Bible about nothing, sorry guys. What I was going to is the fact that when I got super obsessed about watches, for example, you only read it in English, you know, which is all the information, it's so much easier to find it in English. So when I speak about watches, I can't name like anything, like any part of the watch in Swedish. I mean some, I know fucking dial is urtavla and, you know, visare, that's the hands and stuff like that. But in general, when I'm in English, I can name like fucking every part of the watch, you know. So that's one interesting thing about... Dude, I don't even know how I got into this. Holy shit, I think I need to see someone about that ADD diagnosis or something. Funny. I like this bound games, I need to finish the game or I die. Oh, yeah, that's not me, obviously. Fucking Dark Souls 3, still haven't finished it. I should though, and I will. I promise you guys, you will see me finish it. Let's do it. Fucking next stream, we're playing Dark Souls, okay? Let's just decide that. A game of 10 hours, I will finish the game in the same day. Can we hear that out of tune check? Oh shit, dude. This is not gonna be fun. This is gonna be bad. You wanna hear something fucking horrible, bruv? Ah, dude, I don't even wanna do it. This is gonna be so bad. Holy shit. Are you guys ready for this? Do it. I am terribly sorry for what you guys are about to experience. But this... What the fuck do I... I wasn't too bad. Oh, that's not too bad. Did I tune this fucker? Pretty bad but not too bad. Yeah, no, it was definitely worse. Oh yeah, I think I did play a little bit. Not that long ago. Okay, it's pretty bad. It's just that everything is like equally bad. It doesn't... Yeah. It is pretty bad though, let's be honest. Yeah. Guitar is fun though. I also have my fucking Gitalele. The child of a guitar and a ukulele. And a uke. Yeah. That's what we're gonna call it. Sounds bad. I am actually quite satisfied with this guitar though, it's a nice one. I don't know, I've had it for quite a long time. Ukulele. Can you stand here? Is that fine? Oof, risky business. Can you... Are you gonna die if I put you here? Nah, you'll be fine, right? You'll be fine. I think just chilling. Yeah, guitar is fun though. But it's the same thing there, like when I get into playing the guitar, I get obsessive and I play for fucking hours, and then all of a sudden I don't play anything for a few months or whatever. And like, it's... To be fair, I mean, I've been like this my whole life basically, and I do think there's like, you know, there's pros and cons to it. Like, obviously there's a con in the fact that, like, I don't... Basically what I'm trying to say, which some of you might know, this is on theme today, consistency is not one of my, like, biggest attributes, you know? No matter what it is, like playing the guitar, actually studying the languages I want to, streaming, hosting on YouTube, like in general, like consistency, unfortunately, is not one of my strong suits. And that is because, like I said, I am very like, I keep jumping from thing to thing and I get super obsessive when I'm into it. So that's why all of a sudden I can post like 4 YouTube videos in like 1 month and all I'm thinking about is YouTube. But then the next month I might want to learn about fucking bees, you know? Like, I don't know, I just threw something out there, but it can be quite random. But that's one of the reasons why I think content creation is kind of good, because recently, for example, one of my like random interests I got was game development. All of a sudden, I spent 10 hours a day developing games. And the good thing is that like a lot of this stuff translates kind of well to content creation, because obviously I could do that stuff on stream, so that's what I did. I was streaming when I was making games, and that's why I feel like for someone like me who is very like all over the place, the good thing about content creation is that, I mean, technically speaking, you can make content about anything. That's just the way it is. So you can sort of incorporate a lot of stuff into the stream, depending on what it is, of course. But like technically, I've never done it, but I could make a fucking guitar stream, and I could have a fucking, I don't know. You get what I mean. I can have a stream when I'm studying Portuguese. I can make a stream when I'm playing a game and having fun with that, or I can have a stream where I'm developing a game, and next time I might have a different interest, but I can probably do that on stream as well. Of course there's cons to that as well, but just at the same time you have like certain people only want to watch you for certain stuff. Like obviously if you, on like my YouTube for example, there's like obviously like languages are the main content that people want to watch, which is like good because it's a big interest of mine, but it's also like I am interested in other stuff. I do want to make content about other stuff as well, but it's sort of hard because 99% of my audience subscribe to my channel because they want to see language related content, and like 70% of those subscribe because they want to see the specific Omegle videos. And I'm not saying I don't want to make Omegle videos or I don't want to make language related content, because obviously I do enjoy that. I do want to make other stuff too, and that's why I think it's kind of nice about streaming, because I don't feel as much pressure in the sense of like I have to do this, besides the fact that I have to stream Dark Souls 3 because you fucks keep telling me all the fucking time that I need to anyway. I'm joking. But basically, I don't feel the same sort of pressure or whatever you want to call it when I'm streaming, because it's even a bit more open-ended, because you know, a stream can be fucking 8 hours long and like no one expects you to only do the same shit all the time. I mean, you can end up in that, but that's sort of fuck, it's so hard to talk about this. It's like complicated. Because obviously I'm very grateful for the fact that people have enjoyed the content that I've done on YouTube, but like also half the reason why I made my second channel, for example, is because, like, to be fair, the reason why I made my second channel on YouTube is because I want to have somewhere where I can post videos without like overthinking it too much, if that makes any sense. Because basically, I feel like on my main channel, I've already sort of, you know, I've already kind of worked myself a bit into a niche, and it's, you know, I know that people kind of expect a certain type of content, and it's, you know, as someone creating something, it's never fun to see that, okay, people didn't like this. Which made sense, like, I understand that. I'm not saying that people are supposed to like everything I do. Like, I get that people don't, that's not how people work. And like, that's not how I work either. Like, I have certain creators where like, they might do a lot of different content, but I only watch like one specific thing they do. Like, that's normal, I understand that. But it's kinda, you know, it's also not super fun when you post, like, as soon as you post something that's not, like, every time I post something that's not, like, specifically language related, like, I immediately lose, like, 10 subscribers, and it's like, you know, that's not super fun to see, even though I understand that it's a small minority or whatever, and whatever, I don't know. So, I feel like I did get sort of to the point now where I feel like it's harder for me to not post something that is in the general niche that I worked myself into, because I feel like I don't know, this ended up being like a therapy session for me, so sorry, fuck you guys, but but basically, it sort of almost feels like I'm sort of disappointing people when I don't make language related content, which is sort of, you know, it's not super good, and it's probably you know, it's a problem on my end. I'm not blaming anyone else for it. But in the end, like, I know that I want to make lots of different content, but I also do know that, generally speaking, a lot of the content that I do make is not as good as my language related content. because I feel like I've worked more on the language related stuff, so it's at a better standard or whatever. Whereas, wait, in some terms that's exactly how it works. Wait, what do you mean? But yeah, whereas with like I've worked quite a bit with the language related content, as in like I've gotten more used to creating that specific type of content. So I feel like generally speaking it gets like a higher standard or whatever. And that's basically, like I said before, like the reason I made my second channel is because I feel more open to experiment with stuff. And like I posted some fucking compilations of me playing Dark Souls, and I posted like random reaction videos and stuff, because it's just interesting to try stuff out. And I don't know, if I notice that, oh, this might seem to be sort of good content, and maybe I can like sort of do that stuff on the main channel as well. And I don't know, I actually do on my second channel, interestingly enough, I do actually have one video that sort of fucking popped off. I mean, let's be honest, it's like a reaction video or whatever, but fucking every time I look it has like 1,000 more views than last time. So that's kinda hype. But that one was also language related, interestingly enough. Look, I'm not saying, I wanna be clear here, I'm not saying I don't wanna make more language related content. I do, like I do, obviously languages are a huge interest of mine, and I do want to create that content, but I guess in the more dramatic way of saying it, I also like want to feel kinda free, you know. I don't want to feel like I'm locked into like you have to do this type of content. I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm just talking. But yeah, it's hard. Just like I said, I am a very like all over the place person, so that's why I feel like I know that consistency is such an important thing in general when it comes to like any sort of content creation. So the way I think of it is like the best way for me to be able to be consistent, since I'm so all over the place, it's for me to also create content that's all over the place. Does that sort of make sense? Do you understand what I mean? Because I know that if I only do one specific thing for too long, like I am going to get bored with it or burn myself out. Like that's going to happen. So the best way for me to be consistent is to be able to do experiment and try like as much stuff as possible, like have variety or whatever. And that's why I said, that's why I also enjoy streaming, because I feel like it's... I do know that certain streamers might like work themselves into a niche as well, like people, like there might be someone who gets big playing fucking Street Fighter or something, and the same second they turn on something that's not Street Fighter, all of a sudden they lose like 90% of their viewership. But like for me, I feel like I've done so much random shit on my stream that most people who are like actually like recurring viewers or whatever on here on the stream are like already sort of expecting that I might do different shit on different days or whatever. Just like I said, I mean, I started off doing art, like that's what I was doing on here, and then I started playing games and stuff, and then I did fucking, I mean, recently I did game development, and there's different shit. I don't know. Sorry guys, I just went on the longest fucking rant ever. I don't know, I also think it's sort of... I don't think it's bad to talk about Evo, if that makes sense. Because I also feel like it's good to let you guys know how I sort of think about this stuff in some regard, because it helps you might, you know, understand certain stuff, like for example why I'm not posting a shit ton of my Omegle videos or whatever. Just that's basically it. Like, I mean, I'm not stupid. I understand that my channel on YouTube would be way bigger if I just pumped out like a new Omegle video fucking every other week. Like, I understand that, and I'm not saying that I'm not going to make more of them. But I feel like for myself, I feel like I also need to experiment with other types of content, both language related and not, because I don't want to work myself too hard into just one niche where it ends up feeling like there's no return, basically. Because that is what happens to certain content creators and stuff. They consistently only do one specific thing, and their whole community and audience is built around that one thing, and as soon as they do something different, it doesn't work. And I don't know, like, if I think in like a perfect world, of course, I mean, I guess everyone would say this, wouldn't they? But like, I mean, I would preferably be able to make content about basically whatever I might want to do. Am I making any sense? I hope so. And still be able to make it into good content. But I also obviously need to... Because I mean, I don't always have the best content, let's be honest. Some of my videos I posted, I feel like I don't think they're that good, you know? I mean, let's be honest here, I'm also like a fucking creative mess of a person. So in general, I don't think any of my shit is good. Like, and I don't think I'm ever going to do that. And I don't think necessarily, like, I'm sounding dramatic now, I don't mean it in that way. I don't think it's a super... I don't always think it's a bad thing, because it's something that strives you to improve and stuff, you know? Because that's basically what it is. It's like finding ways you can improve, and then there might be some negative self-talk or whatever into that, of course, and which might not always be good, but... Yeah. What the fuck am I talking about? Am I making any sense? Yeah, I don't know. I do wanna, like, I do enjoy content creation, obviously, and I do love the aspect of, like, building a community. I just don't really know in what direction I'm going. Sort of, like, I feel like, that's why I feel like streaming is kind of good for me right now, because I feel like I feel like it's easier to experiment more, or whatever, and see like, oh, because obviously I get some feedback too. I notice like, okay, I was doing this now and people seem interested, maybe this could be good content as well, and you can sort of just basically get better as like an entertainer in itself. Welcome back, Joao. Because that's something, like, in the end, like, that's, like, I enjoy, like, basically creating entertainment. That's like, yeah, I think that's one of the things, like, you know, I enjoy making people laugh or whatever, or making something that people find interesting, or... So, yeah, I don't fucking know. This ended up being a long ass fucking therapy session, so thank you guys for the free therapy. Shit, save some money, eh? Fucking hell. Tell us a joke. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I can definitely do that. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. When are we getting Chirpy produces an EDM banner? That's probably not going to happen, let's be honest here. I mean, I might... it wouldn't be impossible, like, obviously I have a lot of interest in music in general. Like, I do enjoy playing guitar and shit, I do enjoy stuff like that, but... And I mean, obviously I've been interested in a lot of different, like, musical aspects. Though making an EDM banger is probably not the most likely one of them. But yeah, it's so, sometimes it's like I don't even understand myself where like my random hobbies and interests come from. Just they can be so fucking random. But I feel also, like Monsi said, like I feel like a lot of people probably do relate to that. I don't think like I'm super unique in the sense that I'm a bit all over the place. And I think I was going to say this before, but I got off track. I think I've gotten off track like 19 times, so sorry about that. I'm a bit chaotic. But basically, one thing that I think is good about it is that, you know, you become a bit of a jack of all trades. Like, there's a lot of things I like know decently well. Like, I mean, or just know the basics of or whatever, but I have some knowledge in it. Like, I've learned how to make like a simple game. I randomly know fucking a lot about watches for some reason. I can play some sort of intermediate stuff on guitar. I can fucking like conversational in Portuguese. Like, you know, if you give me enough tries, I'll do a kickflip for you. Like, you know, you become a bit of like a jack of all trades, because I've been interested in so many stuff. Like, I know some basic jiu-jitsu, I know this, I know that, whatever. I've been interested in so much stuff that, like, in certain regards, I do feel like my knowledge is kind of broad in that sense. But there's also the other part of that. You might become a jack of all trades, but you also become master of none, as the saying goes. You play golf too? No, never really got into golf. I don't mind like standing at, what the fuck do you call it? The ranch? Yeah, when you're just standing at the ranch fucking whipping golf balls out. That can be kind of fun. But I just don't want to walk after the ball, you know? It's turn 9. Oh wait, are you referring to fucking golf with your friends? Oh yeah, it just clicked. It just clicked. Yeah, that's fair point. But yeah, I don't know. Thank you for the free therapy session. I will send your PayPal and I'll pay all of you for your time. For legal reasons, that was a joke. I'm not paying any one of you fucking nothing. So don't. Yeah. Are we clear? That was no. I didn't sign no papers. You ain't getting money from me, okay? Shut up. Vad fan? Men vad fan? Okay, so should we play some Dark Souls next stream perhaps? Could be fun. I don't know, maybe Thursday. Should we just decide now that I'm supposed to have a streaming schedule? Should we do that? Batch being consistent streamer. Like I said before, I'm not saying that I'm going to fucking stream 8 hours every day or whatever, because that's not gonna be... We have to think about this in the sense that, like, how can I make myself have some form of consistency? Well, I think it's having a balanced schedule, something that I can actually uphold. Because I rather have... Okay, I hope this makes sense. I rather have like a schedule that says I'm going to stream 2 days a week, and then you might get 2 bonus streams. You will end the stream? No, not yet. I mean, to be fair, I don't even know what... We have just been... I didn't know what we were gonna do on the stream today, and it ended up being just a long hangout, rant, and therapy session. Let's go. I mean, I've been enjoying it though. But like I said, I think I should just decide on the fact that I should have some sort of streaming schedule. And like just... What was I saying? Yeah. I think it's better to have a schedule saying I'm gonna stream like 2 days a week and you might get fucking 2 bonus streams or whatever, compared to saying I'm gonna stream 5 days a week and then not being able to uphold it. I mean, obviously you can never stick to a schedule fucking perfectly anyway, but like, we can try. Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. Schedule. This has forever, for fucking years, been saying that I currently don't have a schedule. Let's change that. Damn, mad. Is it actually happening? Let's see if I can keep this up for more than 2 weeks. Hey, I'm gonna try and actually be a bit more consistent. Just like I said, I do enjoy streaming. What the fuck are we doing? Tuesday. It's Tuesday today. On Tuesdays I stream. And let's say next one will be Thursday. I also stream on Thursdays. Let's say Sundays. And then, like I said, I might... Like, I'm not saying I'm not going to stream on other days, but let's, for example, just say that, let's decide that those will be the days that we have like set streams for, so that you guys also know when to actually expect me to be streaming. Because that's also one of the weird things with like how I've been streaming right now. It's the fact that, let's be honest here, no one of you knows whether or not I'm going to be live on a certain day. Like, it's basically, it's like playing fucking roulette at the casino, you know? All of a sudden I might be live and I also might not be. Wasn't good time. 6 PM. That's a good time. I think that's something that I can, because I can't do it too early. 6 PM works. And I'm not gonna say how long I will be live. I might be live for 1 hour, I might be live for 5 hours. Sundays. Let's just say Sundays we go live a bit earlier, say 3 PM. And I should probably also... add... what the fuck do you call it? Time zones. What is our time zone? Fucking hell. Wait, we are +1, but what do you actually... Oh yeah, wait, you do have... I should... Can I not just write fucking... What's it called? UTC +1. But I think this works. Like, 3 days a week is not too... Because I feel like it's... When I'm... Because obviously, I'm kind of hyped about streaming right now. Just that's why I've been live so much. Just I'm actually having a lot of fun doing it. I mean, I always do, but... I feel like 3 days a week is not too crazy. Just otherwise, I'm the type of person where I could be like, yeah, I can definitely be streaming 5 days a week. But then, like, in the long run, that's not something that works. But what if we just decide that we do Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday? So see you on Thursday 6 PM, November 11th, 2023. Yeah, basically. Nah. Now you have me, so it's more funny. Yeah, exactly, dude. That's what I mean. But I think this is something I can probably apologize. I mean, look, let's be honest here. I want to make this clear. I might have to change this. Just we'll have to see if it works or not. Maybe I have to turn it down to 2 days a week, or I have to move it an hour later, or maybe I realize you know what, I think I have more time. I can probably do this 4 times a week. And so this is not like super set in stone, but at least I have something we can sort of aim for. And like, I think it's better for you guys too, because you can, like, you do know when you are able to expect me to be here or whatever. Play chess, I want to see your IQ. I don't think chess is like directly correlated 100% with IQ, to be fair, but we can definitely play chess. I mean, chess is also one of those things that I happen to randomly be obsessed about for a few weeks. So, believe me, for a few weeks I did play a shit ton of chess, but I am not that good, let's be honest here. I am not that good. But I do find it fun, it's interesting. I just realized that, like, it's like a lot of things, it's so hard to like master, you know? Like, I love to watch like chess and stuff. It's interesting and fun to see, but I just can't be bothered spending fucking hours every day studying openings and stuff. Like, you know, I do go in and play a game every now and then for fun. Like, I do have a chess set behind me as well, but like, yeah, it's I realized kinda quickly that, I mean, obviously I'm not gonna, you know, spend all my free time trying to become the best fucking chess player, because I don't think it's too much effort to be honest. But we should do some like viewer games or some shit sometime. Like, you know, we can all like, oh, we should, you know what we should do? You know what we should do? We should make a fucking, we should make like a chess tournament on the stream. That would be kind of fun. Let's say, I mean, it doesn't even have to be like a shit ton of people. Say just we have like, you know, 4, 6, 8 people, whatever, and we literally make like a tournament, and then it's gonna be really funny because I'm gonna be kicked out like first round, and then I have to sit and watch other people play my own tournament. That sounds kind of fun, doesn't it? Well, I mean, I could just make the tournament for you guys as well. I still think it would be quite fun. I don't know how many people play chess though, and it's also kind of, let's go, I will win. What rating are you? Is there anyone else here who plays chess? Just random question. You will be the narrator. Yeah, pretty much. I will be the host. Welcome to Chirpy Chess 2023. Let's go. 1K 950, something like that. On chess.com. Nice dude. Yeah, then you should definitely be better than me though. Gift sub prize pool, yeah. I mean, we can do that. What happens if the person who wins already has a sub though? What do you do then? But I think that could be fun if we have like enough people. There's a lot of stuff we could do. You wait a month to give. I mean, that does work. 1 free sub. Okay. What are we thinking? Does this work? I think this should work. And like I said, you guys should, like I said, I didn't say it. I don't know. Sorry. Discord. You should follow or join my Discord, because like I said before, I might still go live other days. Like I might go live on Saturday if I have the time to. And then I will usually, like most times before I go live, I do post on my Discord before doing so. So it's a good way of finding out if there's any irregularities or something. But I think this can work. Boom. And also, once again, I just wanna be clear here, this is not completely written in stone. I might change this up. But let's try something like this. Do 1 tournament per month and I will be your sub forever. I mean, I do think it could be fun though. I'm probably not gonna do one every month. But I do think if we do have enough people who are interested in like chess, I think it could be fun making like a little tournament. We can do it in more stuff too. That's actually something we maybe should explore. Like we can do fucking tournaments in a shit ton of games. We can just like post them here on the channel. Like it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but I do think it could be fun because we also like incorporate basically you guys a bit more. Tony in Rocket League, yeah, that's actually one of the games I was thinking about. Like we can do chess tournaments, we can do tournament in Rocket League. If Bjarne is here, I mean, I bet we can do a tournament in fucking Street Fighter or Tekken or some shit like that. I mean, basically the issue, so here we come to one of the cons of being a little bit of a smaller community. We have to make sure we have at least enough people to make a tournament even, you know, a viable thing to do. But it doesn't have to be crazy. Like, I think it could still be fun even if we have like 4 people, you know? Because that's still... What's that? That's like 5 matches? No, wait. No, because you can do semi... Wait, what the fuck? How would you do this? Or otherwise... Oh no, you can also do 2 play against each other and then 2 play against each other and then the winners of those matches. In that case, it would be 3 matches you would do in a game. But I guess you can also do a tournament where you do a bit more free-for-all, right? Like, first round, everyone plays everyone, and the people who won the most play against each other. If we all are chipping in with ideas, Tekken, Tony? Yeah, I did mention it. I thought that you'd definitely be up for that one. That's definitely some stuff we can do. And like I said, we need to... I feel like at least 4 people are needed to do something for it to be like... a viable thing. Just, it's like... 1v1 is not really a tournament. You know what I mean? What else could you do? Golf with your friends tournament. Say we are fucking 8 people or something, and then whoever gets in last place gets kicked out, and then you just keep going till there's only 2 people left, and the one who wins it all. I mean, that could be pretty fun too. I definitely think Rocket League is... because I feel like it's a very sort of mainstream game as well. I feel like a lot of people have put some time into Rocket League, so it's probably quite... I don't think it's that hard to find people who would be up for like a short little Rocket League tournament. I don't know about Tekken. That's interesting. How many people here play Tekken? Is there... And chess as well. I don't know how many of my viewers are interested in chess, but like, to be fair, you can find more people. It's like, that is an option. I definitely think last Tekken I played was Tekken 3 on PlayStation 1. Shit. Nah, but I don't think it's impossible. Like, we just, as long as we, like, obviously if we do something like that, we can't be like too impulsive. Like, you know, I can't be like, okay, tomorrow we're gonna do chess tournament. I mean, in that case I would sort of have to build it up a little bit so that we actually can like accumulate enough people to join, whatever it may be. I heard everyone in chat say they play Tekken, so that could work out. Yeah, sure. But I'd be up for that. You're just smashing buttons without thinking, so why not? Oh, dude, Bjarne is fucking... He's shaking in his chair right now. Dude, I can hear him screaming all the way here. He is so mad right now. Yeah, dude, Spec, you are so lucky that you have that moderator status, making you unbannable. Because otherwise, I think the Bjarne ban hammer would have dropped. I mean, let's be fair, you are kinda correct, man. Like, I'm not gonna deny that, but let's not... let's keep it on the down low, you know? Hey, that's how I play. I mean, me too, for sure. Still would beat you as Bjarne. Oh shit, it's on. It's on. Fucking hell. Yeah, I think it could be fun though. We should definitely look into some of that stuff. Rocket League, chess, and Tekken. Golf with your friends. I think that could be fun. And the good thing about that kind of stuff is that all of those could potentially be pretty fun content for a video as well. Because it actually has a bit of narrative or whatever. But yeah, we should definitely keep that in mind. And let's see here, guys. I think it's getting a bit late, so I think I'm actually going to end the stream here. I've been just sitting here talking for 3 hours. Surprisingly fun though. Thank you guys very much for hanging out. And let's see here. According to my new schedule, I should be live again on Thursday at 6 PM. So yeah, I guess I'll see you guys then. Yeah, like I said, thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate you guys. I don't think I always say that often enough, but I do. It's true. So yeah, thank you guys for being a part of this. And I will see you next time. Peace. Bye-bye. Good night, everyone.